Welcome to our clarity and focus session here at Consulting Unleashed. Today we're talking about probably one of the largest untapped resources of business in the market. And I'm talking about businesses and companies that have the cash, have the money to be investing in your marketing services. And any service really, because especially when it comes to relating to acquiring customers, because a particular strategy that these businesses use has been taken away from them because of what's happened with coronavirus and lockdown and social distancing. All those sorts of things have had a huge impact on a lot of industries, a lot of industries. And there's this one marketing channel, which is a very powerful marketing channel that these companies use, has been taken away from them. In fact, probably for the next 6 months, it ain't going to happen in the market. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about companies that market at trade shows. Now, you might be thinking, well, if they're marketing trade shows, why would they be spending money elsewhere? Well, think about what's just happened. A lot of trade shows, there are literally tens of thousands of trade shows. I'm going to show you where you can find all the trade shows you want. I'm also going to show you where you can find lists of companies that spend millions of dollars on spending money on going to an event for 3 or 4 days when they could be spending, or they should be spending that money electronically with you right now. And most of these companies, all their websites are wrong. Most of these companies, their marketing strategy is wrong. They haven't been able to pivot. Some of them have, most of them haven't. But I'm going to show you literally where your opportunity is. So this session here is all about where the money opportunities are in the marketplace. Let's talk about the concept. So if we think, so there's a big reason why trade shows, by the way, leading up to the current economic climate, trade shows were on the rise. Trade shows as an industry in and of itself was worth about $18 billion just in the United States, just in the USA, not any over the world. It's worth over $30 to $50 billion. It's huge, right? But in America, it was on the rise. And the reason why trade shows were so powerful is because we've been online, or we are online, or we're so used to searching and engaging and looking for our and doing our research online. There was a disconnect between the customer and the manufacturer, the owner, or the distributor of multiple products and multiple products, services, and categories in the market. So one of the ways that they know that, one of the most powerful ways to generate revenue or sales opportunities is to build a personal relationship. And the easy way to do that was to go to a trade show where you had a vertical group of customers who were interested, they were an audience that were interested in the services and products you provided, and they would come and visit you directly. Buyers, independent customers, direct to market, trade shows are a very powerful way of generating very large sums of money. And a lot of companies use trade shows for that very specific thing. They use trade shows as a very significant part of their marketing. So now think about what's just happened, right? No more trade shows. In fact, there might be no more trade shows till the end of the year. There are people talking about getting their events back online or getting their in-person events back in October and November. Well, in certain parts of the world, that's still not going to happen. That's still not going to be possible because of the distancing rules or laws or the impact that has of putting a group of people in one place. Now, there is easing of these restrictions. So a lot of organizations that do have planned events are obviously going to go for making sure that people can come. But here's the problem. The flights aren't there, right? We don't have all the flights up and running. So it's going to be more difficult to get people to venues or to be able to go to destinations and locations because there's a whole bunch of other restrictions where you might have to go into quarantine before you go. So the likelihood of you going is no, you can't be locking yourself up for 14 days because you want to go to a conference, right? So the industry has been impacted and affected in a dramatic way. And there's some companies that have been very clever and they pivoted and they've gone into virtual trade shows. In fact, there was an event that happened just before the lockdown here in Australia. We went into lockdown and the event had to cancel the physical event. Now they had 400 exhibitors that paid their money that they had to cancel. So what they did was they turned their physical trade show event into a virtual trade show event. So the conference still went ahead and the vendors and the vendor providers at the trade show still got to display their services in a virtual trade show area. So they'd be hopping on camera, introducing their company, sharing their products, the benefits, how people can work, what they can do, what their offers were. They were still having this interaction. But here's the cool thing about the virtual trade show. It went from 8,000 attendees to 15,000 attendees. In fact, the participants of the event got more exposure because it was virtual, right? However, there is a lot of things that you've got to be taking into consideration to be able to run a virtual trade show, and also to be able to maximize your ROI, because in a traditional trade show, you've got people walking up and down aisles and you're physically engaging and connecting with your customer. And this is why trade shows are so powerful, is because of that direct emotional connection, to be able to converse, to be able to spend time, to be able to answer questions, to be able to build that connection. Because the relationships you build are relationships that you build for years to come. I go to a particular trade show every year and I meet new people every time I go, but because I've been going there for 8 years, I've built up a rapport and a friendship and a connection with some pretty heavy hitters in certain markets because I've been attending that show. And that show is worth millions and millions of dollars worth of sales opportunities, right? So I'm not suggesting that you go to trade shows. This is not what this strategy is about. What I'm sharing with you today is these people have got money. They haven't been able to spend their budgets. Their shows have been canceled. So they've got 30, 40, 100, 200,000, $1 million that they can't use because they can't go to the trade show. And this trade show, a trade show, was a major contributing factor of marketing and generating clients for them. So now they can't go to a trade show. So what's the alternative? The alternative is us coming to them in the market and say, hey, if you can't do trade show, you still need to acquire customers, you still need to fill your orders, and you still need to generate clients. So what if we actually created a strategy to engage your customers online? What if we actually spent some of that money on marketing and advertising to make you visible, to show people you got showrooms and inventory that you want to clear out and get rid of? Your approach is actually a very easy approach, because right now, what's the alternative, right? What's plan B? And let me tell you, a lot of these companies are struggling with plan B, because they're sitting going, well, we're so used to relying on trade shows, what do we do, right? And so they're looking for ideas, they're looking for you. So I'm going to walk you through on how you can get a whole bunch of leads and lists. I'm going to show you where you can find them, especially in the trade show market. Anywhere in the world, in any city, right, you can do this. I'm going to show you a really cool resource that you can access so you can actually engage customers in a marketplace. And then we'll talk about how, some of the things you can do to go about engaging them. But I'm going to show you one that I love because it represents thousands of companies. And I know, because I go to this particular show have been going to the show for the last 8 years, and it is worth billions of dollars. It's worth billions of dollars. Billions of dollars worth of business is done at this trade show. So I'm gonna walk you through one, just to give you perspective of how easy it is to find and connect and find companies to work with, and it automatically identifies them as people that spend money on marketing. Anybody who goes to a trade show, anybody that spends money on putting a booth at a trade show is investing in marketing. So number one tick, are they investing in marketing? They are. And how much are they investing in marketing? Sometimes hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. Now, if I can't spend my hundreds of thousands, I can't spend $1 million, and I've got that budget allocated, I need to spend it somewhere else. And I need to spend it with you. I need to spend it with you. So this is all going to boil down to the offer that you make, how you can help them leverage their opportunity, and more importantly, engaging them, saying, hey, do you need help? Right now, you can't rely on a trade show. What's your alternative? What's plan B in the process? So with that, let me open or share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's go to the screen here. No, that's not the screen I wanted to go to. This is the screen I wanted to go to. So there's this website, and it's called 10 times, the number 10times.com, right? And this website is an aggregator website for events around the world. And so I can type in, for example, I've already typed this in, but I'll do this in. So I can type in, say, events that are occurring in, let's pick a city. Let's go San Diego. Right, that's a city that's in lockdown right now. So let's look at San Diego, and it's doing a little bit of search. And so here we are. There's a whole bunch of events that are still going on. We've got the California, the WIC Conference and Trade Show. Notice trade show. We have Elevate Your Virtual Events, get people their coffee. That's an ad. The Education GIS Conference. We have, and these are happening right now. They're supposedly going on in July, but they won't be, right? The Engineering and Construction Summit. I'll guarantee you there's a trade show that's attached to that. Or I can just look for trade shows. So rather than all, I can just go, I just want to look for trade shows. All right. So here we go. And these are all the events that have trade shows. The Small Business Expo of San Diego, the SBE, right? You know, America's biggest business-to-business trade show and educational event for small business owners is happening on the 10th of September, right? Now, right now, that might be canceled. It may not be going ahead, right? In July, we've got the California WIC Association Conference and Trade Show. That may not be going ahead. But what I can do is I can drill into this event and I can pull up an exhibitors list. So to give an example, and I've just opened up a couple of these, but this is what's going on in Chicago right now. And if I hit trade shows in Chicago, we've got the we got the Holiday Product Innovation Show. We got the Tech Expo Chicago in June. That's happening. That's not happening right now. So there's a whole bunch of people at that trade show that you could be engaging, contacting in right now. We have the job fair, all the recruitment firms, all the companies that are looking to hire and recruit are there. We have that's in June. So I can actually go out and look for months in advance, right? But to just give you an example, I'm going to pick this directory here. It's called CES, all right? Now, CES is a consumer electronics show. There are 3 of these in the world. The largest one happening in Las Vegas. Now, this year it went off in January. They actually made it before all the lockdown. And this year there was over 4,000 exhibitors this year, and there were 275,000 people that attended this event. And of those 275,000 people, 67% of them were C-level executives, decision makers, right? And in this show, a 6x18, which is a sizable booth, roughly cost about $600,000 for 4 days. Now, a good 40% of their booths are 6x18. A good 40% of their booths are 6x18. So now multiply, right? 2,000 booths at $600,000 a pop, right? Now you'll start to understand the money in this particular group. This group is responsible for billions and billions of dollars worth of sales. It's where they launch all the new tech products. There's innovators, they have innovation awards. So there's a lot of stuff going on around CES, but they have this thing called an Exhibitor Directory. And you can literally go download the Exhibitor Directory for 2020, for 2019, for 2018. You can see who the companies were that spent a lot of money at this particular trade show, right? At this particular thing, they had more than 4,000 exhibiting companies. And what I can do, by the way, this list is for 2020. So they've already locked in exhibitors for the following year, right? But this show is done 3 times. There's one in Singapore and one in Berlin. I know the one in Singapore is canceled, and I think they're going to be canceling the one in Berlin as well because nobody can fly, right? But they've got these things like feature exhibitors, and they tell you where they are in the actual show. But here's the thing. I can just click on any one of these tiles, right? Let's say, for example, we're looking at you know, Mobile Line Inc. as a company. So let me just go there. It's probably going to give me a map. So it's going to show me the location of where this company is going to be at. It's going to be loading, right? And this is where this company is. If I want to drill in, so look at the information here, a little bit about the company, about the booth, where they're based, right? Where they're based. They're a member of the association, about this company, the product categories they have over here on the right-hand side, the brands, right? Press releases, okay? Company contacts. So look at this. We have the CEO. The name of the CEO is Stas Borakov, is the CEO and founder of mobileline.com, right? And look at this. I've got a phone number here as well. So I can actually garner, if I was clever enough, I could probably scrape this list and get 4,500 contacts in the market. But the beauty of this list, and let me just go back to back one on this list. Let's go back to the directory here. The beauty of this list is I can actually go and look in categories, right? If I go to exhibitors, I can actually find exhibitors that fit a particular category, right? So I might go clearing filters and I might do some searching, right? I might look for robotics. Hit robotics, and then it's going to give me companies in the robotics market. So all these companies are in robotics, right? It'll give me their location in the show and from A to Z. So look at all these companies, and I can find the CEO, and I can find all the people at this exhibition. Now, these companies, so think about an exhibition that can't go on right now. Think about all the lead lists that you could be generating. Think about these companies that right now are unable to get sales from a major part of their marketing strategy, which is trade shows. So these companies need to look at alternatives. And that's why I see this as one of the largest untapped resources in the marketplace. That's why I love going to this website 10 times, right? And I'm just going to hit that home button and literally type in the city. And it could be the city that you're in, right? It could be like right now I'm in Brisbane. And I know there's no trade shows in Brisbane, right? Trade shows in Brisbane. Now, there's supposed to be one. There's a book fest, pregnancy, baby, children's expo. Now, the children's market is a huge market. In actual fact, one of the recession-proof markets is the children's market. This is a, I don't know what that is. It's a, provides best Australian New Zealand craft. So craft breweries. So microbreweries are big business. They're going to be exhibiting. What else is there? Kids Disability Expo. So there are lots of product categories. The Bridal Expo, the Whiskey Live Brisbane, the Tertiary Studies Expo. All these people that are spending money to exhibit are companies that are looking for marketing and marketing services. So it's not hard to go and get a list in any city. And any city that's got a convention center will definitely have their listings of those companies or groups here in the marketplace. If I wanted to drill into the Babies Expo, find out what's going on, it's going to tell me what the expo is all about, right? It's going to tell me roughly how many participants. Look, 5,000 to 20,000 visitors. So it is a very big show. There's 100 to 500 exhibitors in the list, right, that I can go to. Here's the exhibitors list. Look at all the exhibitors lists right there, right? So it's showing me all the categories, and it's also giving me, right, companies. I can go to the website of the company here. So this is a really cool website to go and find more information and leads on companies. Now, all these companies were going to spend money at this trade show. And on average, at a trade show, most companies are spending between 20 at the low end. This is the low end. Most people are spending $20,000 to $30,000 on a 2 to 3 day event. $20,000 to $30,000 on a 2 to 3 day event at a trade show, right? Especially if it's at a convention center, right? So that's a lot of money. That's for 2 days. So that means you imagine that anybody spending $20,000 to $30,000 on a 2 day event or a 4 day event, I would imagine they've got more than that for their marketing budgets, right, into the marketplace. But right now, they can't spend those $20,000 to $30,000. They've got to look for alternatives. And the alternative is you. So generating leads lists out of this type of strategy is pretty easy to do because you can actually scrape them. You can do your homework. You can actually look at verticals. The thing I love about trade show directories is they literally give you a niche category of hundreds of businesses in one niche. So you can actually see a lead list of people that have directly related competition in the marketplace. So you can work a niche in trade shows. The people who attend trade shows tend to come from a particular niche depending on the genre of the actual event. Every major industry group in the world, every professional organization, association tends to have an event, and 70% of those industry groups will have a trade show attached to that event. They will have a trade show attached to that event, right? So understand that if you're, I mean, these are the niche. Look at all the niches here, right? So even in subcategories, they actually break up the show with a whole bunch of niches, right? Things like smart cities, 5G, accessibility, digital health, fitness wearables, all the different companies are actually grouped in niches within these types of websites. That's why I love trade show directories. The number one thing, all of these people are spending money on marketing and advertising. Number two, can I get access to the list? All I have to do is download the list, or I can scrape the list, easily scrape the list and put them into an Excel spreadsheet. Websites, sometimes, as I've shown you, the managing director, CEO of the company is the contact. The reason why you're going to see a lot of CEO contacts in trade show directories is because generally when you're dealing with a company, the company will register as the leader of the company, as the person who is responsible for that business, right? So you'll find a lot of CEOs are listed in trade show categories around the world. So a couple of things to remember, realize trade shows are money. Right now, you can't do trade shows. You're probably not going to be able to do them for the next 6 months. That means There are literally tens of thousands of businesses around the world who relied heavily on this one marketing channel that they can't rely on right now. And they already allocated the money to this one marketing channel. Some companies do 3 to 4 exhibitions. The CES show here, 3 locations around the world. Some companies have a traveling exhibition team that go from show to show to show, and that's how they generate their clients. It's a big part of their marketing in generating clients into the marketplace, right? So understand that this is such a highly targeted prospect list, because right now the number one thing is they all have a budget. They just can't spend it on the channels they normally use to generate clients. So what they should be doing is considering your services, right? What they should be doing is thinking about what their offers are. What they should be doing is how do they make themselves visible to the market? And here's the other cool thing about this. If I haven't been able to rely on a trade show, and I'm relying on distribution channels or direct access, right? Then this is a great way to launch or to pivot direct sales to the market. A lot of these product companies don't realize there's this little tiny company called Alibaba. It's a website. Don't know if anybody's ever seen it. It represents 300,000 manufacturers in Southeast Asia, right? Where you can order one product, one item, direct from factory, direct to the market. So Alibaba is bringing consumers direct to manufacturer. These companies, a lot of these companies tend to work through distribution channels, and they tend to work through agencies that represent their products and put their products into market. The problem with that is the buying public is looking direct. They're looking to ways to generate direct. A lot of these companies have an incredible opportunity to actually go direct to market. So from a sales opportunity, this is like opening up a whole new channel for product-based companies in the marketplace. So this is where there's a lot of money that's sitting out there in the market. Right now, a lot of these companies had spent a lot of energy, time, and resources in gearing themselves up for these types of events. And ultimately what's going to happen is what's happened is no event, then there is a significant loss to revenue. So what's the alternative? They have to go direct, or they have to start marketing their services in the marketplace. So very cool place to find clients. Very easy to go to 10 times, the coolest website on the planet, right? Let me just go here. So 10 times is one of the easiest websites to find trade shows around the world. You can even browse by category. Look at all the different categories. They're even niching down for you. It's a really cool way to go. Then once we go in, drill into the list. You can download the list of exhibitors, then drill into who those exhibitors are, find out how much it costs to attend that trade show, the money, because think about it, most trade shows, it's not one person standing behind a booth. A lot of people bring teams of people, 3, 4 people. Then you've got people setting up. A lot of people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on exhibition stands in the marketplace. All of that money is gone, and it's sitting out there, and it needs to be allocated to something else. And the best place to allocate it is to marketing. So before I get into some questions, we are a little over 15 hours away from what we call, in fact, I'm just going to do a stop share for a second and share my screen again. We are a little over 15 hours away from this event. We are holding the Website Sales Intensive web event for good. If you go to websitesalesintensive.com, if you haven't bought a ticket already, I would highly encourage you to do so. If you're watching this replay a little bit later today, we do have some seats left. And we will close out this event, by the way, at the end of the day. So it is 4 hours on sharing strategies, tactics, ways in which you can engage, set yourself apart in the marketplace, but more importantly, actively open yourself up to having direct offers, and also having a great give that actually engages a client. So we've got this really cool strategy that we're going to be sharing in the actual intensive, where you can actually physically use a very cool tool to open the door to communication and conversation, one that really highlights and targets clients that actually need your services. So it is a 4-hour intensive. This ticket is a ticket for good. The $97 is going to be going to supporting multiple charities, multiple sustainability projects. We're going to help 3 families. For every ticket, 3 families are going to get plumbed fresh water into their homes. So with taps that they've never had before. access to clean drinking water at home. That is a life changer for a lot of people. One child, we're going to pay for the education for their entire year with this ticket. That $97 ticket is going to pay for the education for one child for an entire year. And then also we're going to provide a beekeeping farm for a family in Kenya to support their local village and also support their local communities with their families with income. So this ticket, this $97, you get the recordings, you get the slides, you get me answering your questions live, giving you strategies, tactics, showing you campaigns, but more importantly, giving you exactly what you need to do to add between $100,000 to $200,000 worth of revenue in the next 90 days. So that's what the website Sales Intensive is all about. It is a web event for good. If you go to the website salesintensive.com website, you can still grab some tickets. And I look forward to helping you out and sharing some pretty cool stuff at our live event or at our virtual live event, which will be happening at 9 a.m. PST. On the 18th, which is a little over 15 hours away. In fact, it's more than that. It's about 23 hours away. 23 hours away. No, sorry, less than that. It's about 15 hours away from now. We are going to do 4 hours of live intensive strategic and tactical things that you can actually scale and grow your business with. So with that, I want to thank you for watching.